Hello, and welcome back to our podcast. If you've been following along, you know that in our last two episodes, we explored some powerful ideas to make 2025 your breakthrough year. We talked about setting bold goals and taking actionable steps to achieve them. But today, we're bringing you something completely different. Something that's not just about what you do, but how you think. And that, my friends, is the magic of a growth mindset.
Exactly, Adam. It's so important to clarify that this isn't just a continuation of our previous topics, it's a whole new layer of transformation. In the last episodes, we focused on strategies and tools, but today we're zooming out to look at the bigger picture, your mindset. Because let's face it, no strategy or tool will work if you don't believe in your own ability to grow and adapt.
That's such a great point, Sophia. A lot of people set incredible goals, but they hit a wall because they're stuck in the same old thought patterns. So if you're thinking, is this just another podcast about achieving goals? The answer is no. This is about reshaping your mindset to unlock your potential in ways you might never have imagined.
And here's the exciting part. This topic has the power to transform not just 2025, but every year of your life moving forward. A growth mindset isn't just for career success, it's for personal growth, better relationships, and even navigating challenges with resilience. So if you're ready to step into a completely new version of yourself, you're in the right place.
Couldn't have said it better, Sophia. So stick around, because today's conversation is going to be packed with insights, practical tips, and even some personal stories to inspire you. We're diving deep into what a growth mindset is, why it's crucial, and most importantly, how you can cultivate it starting right now.
And trust us, this episode is going to feel fresh, exciting, and relevant, even if you've been with us since the first episode on 2025. So, grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's make this a game changer for your year ahead.
All right, let's kick things off by breaking down what exactly a growth mindset is. It's a term that's thrown around a lot these days, but at its core, it's actually quite simple. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and talents aren't fixed. They can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. In other words, it's the mindset that says, I can improve, I can grow, and I can achieve more than I thought possible. It's a powerful shift in thinking, isn't it, Sophia?
It really is, Adam. And I think the contrast with a fixed mindset makes it even clearer. A fixed mindset is the belief that your abilities are static, like you're either good at math or you're not, you're creative or you're not, you're confident or you're not. People with a fixed mindset tend to avoid challenges because they're afraid of failing. But here's the thing. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of the process. A growth mindset flips the narrative. It says failure is an opportunity to learn and grow.
That's such an important point. I'll admit, there was a time in my life when I had a pretty fixed mindset. I'd tell myself things like, I'm just not good at this, or this isn't for me, and I'd give up before I even tried. But when I started to embrace the idea that I could improve with effort, it was like a switch flipped. Suddenly, challenges didn't feel so intimidating. They felt like opportunities. Sophia, what about you? Have you ever had to consciously shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset?
Oh, absolutely, Adam. I remember when I first started learning a second language, I used to think, I'll never be fluent, this is too hard. I avoided speaking because I was afraid of making mistakes. But then I realized every mistake I made was actually teaching me something. I started looking at each error as a stepping stone, not a setback. That's when I really started to grow, and honestly, that's when it became fun.
I love that example because it shows how universal this concept is. A growth mindset isn't just about academics or work. It applies to every aspect of life, from relationships to hobbies to personal development. And here's the best part. Anyone can develop a growth mindset. It's not something you're born with. It's something you choose.
Exactly, Adam. And for our listeners, if you're wondering whether you lean more toward a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? Here's a quick way to find out. Think about how you react to challenges. Do you avoid them or do you embrace them? How about feedback? Do you see it as criticism or as a chance to improve? And when you see someone else succeed, do you feel inspired or do you feel threatened? Your answers to these questions can give you some insight into your mindset.
That's such a great exercise, Sophia. And if you're realizing that you tend to have a fixed mindset in certain areas, don't worry. That's completely normal. The good news is you can change it. It starts with awareness and it grows with practice. In fact, that's what we're here to help you with today. By the end of this episode, you'll have the tools you need to start building a growth mindset and using it to achieve your goals.
Let's dive right into our next segment, the science behind the growth mindset. This is where things get really fascinating because we're not just talking about ideas. We're talking about what's actually happening in your brain when you adopt this mindset. So, Sophia, why don't we kick things off? Absolutely, Adam. The concept of a growth mindset isn't just motivational talk, it's deeply rooted in neuroscience. Let's start with one of the most incredible features of our brains, neuroplasticity. This is the brain's ability to reorganize itself, to literally rewire its neural pathways based on learning and experience. In other words, your brain is always evolving, and the choices you make every day shape that evolution.
Right. And here's a great way to think about it. Your brain is like a set of roads. When you take on a new challenge or learn something new, it's like building a new road. The more you use that road, through practice and persistence, the stronger and more efficient it becomes. That's why effort and repetition are so critical to growth.
Exactly, Adam. And there's more. When you adopt a growth mindset, your brain actually starts to work harder. Research shows that people who believe they can improve activate areas of their brain associated with learning and problem-solving more intensely. It's like flipping a switch in your brain that says, I can figure this out. And that switch is powered by the belief that effort leads to progress.
Here's something that really blew my mind, Sophia. When we make progress, even small steps, our brain releases dopamine. That's the feel-good chemical that motivates us to keep going. With a growth mindset, every challenge becomes an opportunity to chase that dopamine hit, not because of instant success, but because of the process of learning and improving.
And speaking of challenges, Adam, let's talk about failure. People with a growth mindset view failure as part of the journey, not the end of it. There's a region of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex that lights up when we make mistakes. For someone with a growth mindset, this activation is seen as a signal to learn and adjust, not to give up.
That's such a powerful point, Sophia. It reminds me of how Carol Dweck's research showed that students who were praised for their effort rather than their intelligence were more willing to take on difficult tasks. Their brains literally worked harder to solve problems because they believed in the power of effort.
Yes, Adam. And this isn't limited to students. The same applies to professionals, athletes, and even relationships. A growth mindset helps you become more open to feedback, more resilient in the face of setbacks, and more willing to take risks. All of this activates different parts of your brain, creating a ripple effect that enhances your overall potential.
And it's worth noting, Sophia, that these changes don't happen overnight. But every time you challenge yourself, every time you push through self-doubt or fear, you're training your brain to grow stronger. It's a journey, but the results are transformative.
Exactly, Adam. And for everyone listening, remember, growth isn't a one-time event. It's a daily practice. It's about making small choices that lead to big changes over time. And when you combine this practice with the understanding of how your brain works, you're not just adopting a mindset, you're unlocking your full potential.
Beautifully said, Sophia. The science of a growth mindset is truly empowering. And as we continue exploring this topic, we're going to dive into how this mindset translates into real-life benefits and results. Let's keep the momentum going. All right, let's jump into our next segment, the benefits of a growth mindset. This is where we start connecting the dots. How does adopting a growth mindset actually improve your life? Sophia, why don't you start us off?
Absolutely, Adam. Let's start with the most obvious benefit, resilience. When you embrace a growth mindset, you're better equipped to handle setbacks. Instead of viewing challenges as roadblocks, you see them as stepping stones. This shift allows you to bounce back stronger and more determined after failures.
That's such a powerful point, Sophia. I think resilience is the cornerstone of success, and a growth mindset feeds directly into that. Another huge benefit is continuous learning. People with a growth mindset are naturally curious. They're always seeking new knowledge, new skills, and new opportunities for improvement. This makes them lifelong learners who stay ahead in both personal and professional spheres.
Exactly, Adam. And let's not forget better relationships. When you adopt a growth mindset, you become more open to feedback. You start to value constructive criticism instead of fearing it. This not only helps you grow as an individual, but also strengthens your connections with others. You start to see every interaction as a chance to learn and improve.
That's a great point, Sophia. And speaking of professional life, let's talk about career growth. Employers love individuals who demonstrate a growth mindset. Why? Because they're adaptable, motivated, and willing to put in the effort to grow. These traits make you a valuable asset to any team, especially in fast-changing industries.
Absolutely, Adam. And this extends beyond just career benefits. A growth mindset can also lead to improved mental health. When you stop being afraid of failure and start embracing it as a part of growth, you reduce a lot of unnecessary stress and anxiety. You learn to approach challenges with optimism, which has a ripple effect on your overall well-being.
That's so true, Sophia. And let's add another benefit to the list: increased creativity. When you believe that you can improve, you're more willing to take risks and explore new ideas. This kind of thinking opens up endless possibilities for innovation, whether you're working on a creative project, solving a problem, or simply trying something new in your personal life.
Exactly. And you know, Adam, one of the lesser talked about benefits of a growth mindset is how it builds self-confidence. When you start to see the results of your effort and persistence, you begin to trust your abilities more. That confidence fuels further growth, creating a positive feedback loop.
Such a great point, Sophia. And for everyone listening, the beauty of all these benefits is that they're interconnected. When you become more resilient, you're better able to learn. When you're more creative, you find new solutions to problems. When you're open to feedback, you build stronger relationships. It's all part of a larger ecosystem of growth.
Exactly, Adam. And what's really inspiring is that these benefits don't just impact you, they also influence the people around you. When you model a growth mindset, you encourage your colleagues, friends, and family to do the same. Growth becomes contagious, and that's how you create a supportive, thriving environment.
Beautifully said, Sophia. So, if you're still wondering whether adopting a growth mindset is worth it, the answer is a resounding yes. The benefits extend to every area of your life, from your career to your relationships to your personal happiness.
And the best part is, these benefits aren't reserved for a select few. Anyone can tap into the power of a growth mindset with the right approach and consistent effort. Speaking of which, let's start exploring how you can begin applying this mindset to your goals and daily life.
Yes, let's keep building on this momentum, Sophia, because the real magic happens when you take these principles and start putting them into action. All right, let's move into our next segment: common barriers to a growth mindset and how to overcome them. Now, adopting a growth mindset sounds amazing in theory, but it's not always easy. There are challenges and roadblocks that can hold people back. So, Sophia, let's break these barriers down and offer some practical solutions.
Absolutely, Adam. One of the biggest barriers is fear of failure. So many people are afraid of making mistakes or being judged for their shortcomings. This fear often stems from perfectionism or a belief that failure defines them. But here's the truth. Failure is a part of growth. If you're not failing, you're not pushing your limits.
That's so true, Sophia. And to overcome this, one thing I recommend is reframing failure. Instead of thinking of it as an end point, view it as feedback. Every time you fail, you're learning something valuable. Ask yourself, what did this teach me? And use that lesson to move forward.
Exactly, Adam. Another barrier is fixed mindset triggers. These are situations or moments that cause you to default to a fixed mindset. Maybe it's a tough critique, a bad grade, or a comparison to someone else's success. These triggers can make you feel stuck or unworthy.
Such a great point, Sophia. And the key to overcoming this is awareness. Recognize when you're being triggered and consciously choose to respond differently. Instead of saying, I'm not good at this, say, I'm learning how to get better. That simple shift in language can make a huge difference.
Yes, Adam. And let's talk about another major barrier: negative self-talk. That little voice in your head that says, you're not smart enough, you'll never get this right, or this isn't for you. Negative self-talk can be incredibly limiting and often goes unnoticed.
Negative self-talk is such a common barrier, Sophia. One strategy to combat it is to challenge those thoughts. When you catch yourself saying, I can't, ask, why not? And then counter it with evidence of your past successes. For example, I've learned difficult things before, I can do this too. It's about replacing doubt with self-encouragement.
Absolutely, Adam. Another barrier I've seen is comparison. In today's world of social media, it's so easy to compare your journey to someone else's highlight reel. This can make you feel like you're not doing enough or that you're falling behind.
That's such an important one, Sophia. And the antidote to comparison is gratitude. Focus on your own progress and what you've achieved so far. Remember, everyone's journey is unique, and comparing yourself to others only distracts you from your own growth.
Right, Adam. Another barrier is lack of support. Sometimes the people around us don't share or understand a growth mindset, and their negativity or skepticism can hold us back.
That's a tough one, Sophia. But a way to overcome it is to find a community that uplifts you. Whether it's a mentor, a friend, or even an online group, surrounding yourself with people who encourage growth can make a world of difference. And if that's not immediately possible, start by being your own biggest supporter.
Absolutely, Adam. And finally, let's talk about impatience. Many people expect instant results, and when they don't see progress right away, they give up. But growth takes time, and consistency is key.
Patience is so crucial, Sophia. A great way to stay motivated is to celebrate small wins. Each step forward, no matter how small, is proof that you're moving in the right direction. And over time, those small steps add up to big changes.
Exactly, Adam. So, to everyone listening, remember, barriers to a growth mindset are normal. We all face them. But with the right strategies and mindset, you can overcome these challenges and unlock your full potential.
Let's dive into our next segment, cultivating a growth mindset in daily life. Now, we know the concept of a growth mindset is powerful, but how do you actually bring it into your everyday routine? It's easy to talk about growth, but to make it a habit, we need to integrate it into our daily actions. Sophia, what's the first step to start applying a growth mindset in our day-to-day lives?
Great question, Adam. The first step is setting a clear intention every single day. It starts with your mindset before your feet even hit the floor in the morning. When you wake up, remind yourself that today is an opportunity to grow. A simple statement like, I am open to learning and improving today, can set the tone for your entire day.
Right. Intentions are everything. And once you set that intention, it's all about making conscious choices throughout the day. Every task, conversation, or challenge you face is an opportunity to practice a growth mindset. Instead of thinking, this is too hard, or I can't do this, reframe your thinking to, how can I improve in this situation? Or, what can I learn from this?
Exactly, Adam. And another key practice is embracing challenges instead of avoiding them. A growth mindset thrives on challenges. So, if you're faced with a difficult task at work, instead of pushing it aside or getting frustrated, approach it as a learning opportunity. Ask yourself, what can I gain from overcoming this challenge? That shift in perspective helps you tackle obstacles with enthusiasm rather than fear.
And I think that shift in perspective is huge. Many of us try to stay in our comfort zone because we fear failure or mistakes, but a growth mindset is all about embracing those moments. They're part of the process. Instead of fearing mistakes, celebrate them as opportunities to improve. Even small errors are important stepping stones to success.
Absolutely. And that's where self-compassion comes into play. When you slip up or things don't go as planned, be kind to yourself. A growth mindset means not being overly critical. Instead of thinking, I failed, shift to, what can I do differently next time? This encourages progress without self-judgment, which helps build confidence in your ability to grow.
Self-compassion is so important. If we constantly beat ourselves up over mistakes, we'll burn out and lose the motivation to keep going. But when we show ourselves kindness, we're more likely to keep trying and learning. Now, another practice. Now, let's dive into the next segment, the role of a growth mindset in achieving long-term goals. We've discussed how to cultivate a growth mindset in your daily life, but what's the real connection between that mindset and achieving those big, long-term goals? What role does this mindset play when you're working towards something that takes time, effort, and persistence? Sophia, why is it so crucial to have a growth mindset when it comes to those bigger, long-term dreams?
Great question, Adam. When it comes to long-term goals, we all know that success doesn't happen overnight. And here's where the growth mindset makes a huge difference. It keeps you going, especially during those times when progress seems slow or when obstacles get in your way. With a fixed mindset, you might give up when things get tough, but with a growth mindset, you approach those tough moments as part of the journey. It's about knowing that failure isn't the end. It's an opportunity to learn and adjust.
Exactly. A growth mindset turns challenges into opportunities. If you're working on a big goal, you're bound to encounter setbacks, roadblocks, and moments where you feel like giving up. But if you truly believe that you can grow, that you can improve over time, you're much more likely to push through those tough moments and keep moving forward. The growth mindset makes you resilient, and resilience is key when working toward long-term goals.
Absolutely. And it's not just about bouncing back from setbacks. A growth mindset helps you stay committed to the process, even when things aren't going as planned. Long-term goals, whether they're personal or professional, require consistency and persistence. You might not see immediate results, but a growth mindset helps you stay motivated and focused on the bigger picture. It allows you to trust the process and keep working, even when you can't see the immediate fruits of your labor.
That's a great point. Staying committed is key. It's like running a marathon. You know that the end result won't come quickly, but it's the small, consistent steps that add up over time. And this is where patience comes in. With a growth mindset, you're willing to put in the work, knowing that results will come as long as you keep improving. It's not about being perfect right away. It's about progress and incremental growth.
Right, Adam. And another important thing to consider is adaptability. When you're working toward long-term goals, things don't always go according to plan. Maybe your original goal changes, or a new opportunity arises that alters your path. A growth mindset helps you stay flexible and open to adjusting your plans. Instead of feeling stuck or defeated when something doesn't work out, you approach it as a chance to rethink your approach, learn something new, and keep going.
Exactly. With a growth mindset, you're not tied to one fixed idea of success. You're open to exploring different ways to achieve your goal. That adaptability allows you to take advantage of new opportunities and find creative solutions to challenges along the way.
And it's also important to recognize that long-term goals often involve delayed gratification. You're not going to see immediate rewards for the hard work you put in today, and that can be discouraging at times. But a growth mindset helps you maintain the belief that your efforts will pay off eventually. You stay focused on the long-term benefits rather than looking for instant results. The more you practice this mindset, the easier it becomes to stay patient and keep pushing toward your goals, no matter how long it takes.
That's a powerful point, Sophia. Long-term success really is about delayed gratification. It's about trusting that your efforts will lead to results down the road, and that requires a mindset shift. You need to focus on the journey instead of just the destination. With a growth mindset, you're more likely to embrace the ups and downs of the journey because you know that each step is part of the bigger picture.
Exactly. And this is why we need to break down our long-term goals into smaller, achievable milestones. When you focus on these smaller steps, it makes the journey feel more manageable and less overwhelming. Plus, each milestone is a chance to celebrate your progress and remind yourself that you're moving closer to your bigger vision.
That's such an important strategy. Long-term goals can feel daunting if you only focus on the end result, but when you break it down into smaller, more achievable milestones, it becomes much easier to stay motivated. You get to celebrate those small wins along the way, and that keeps the momentum going.
And, Adam, this is where self-reflection also comes in. Periodically, you need to check in with yourself. Are you still on track? Have your goals shifted? Are you learning from the challenges? Reflection allows you to stay connected to your growth process, and it helps you adjust when needed. Without reflection, it's easy to get lost in the long-term goal and forget to appreciate the journey and growth you're experiencing along the way.
Reflection is a game changer, isn't it? It allows you to adjust your strategy, acknowledge your progress, and stay aligned with your vision. So, to sum it up, a growth mindset plays a crucial role in achieving long-term goals by helping you stay resilient, adaptable, and patient. It encourages you to see setbacks as opportunities to learn, and it keeps you focused on progress rather than perfection.
Exactly. And with a growth mindset, the journey toward your long-term goals becomes less about avoiding failure and more about embracing the process of growth. The more you practice it, the more success feels within reach, no matter how far off that destination might seem.
Now, let's jump into an incredibly powerful segment: real-life examples and case studies of people who've successfully applied a growth mindset to achieve their long-term goals. We've talked a lot about the theory behind it, but hearing how real people have implemented this mindset can really bring it all to life. Sophia, I know you've come across a lot of inspiring stories. Can you share one example of someone who embraced a growth mindset to achieve a major goal?
Absolutely, Adam. One of the most inspiring stories I've come across is of Oprah Winfrey. She's a prime example of someone who turned obstacles into stepping stones. Oprah grew up in poverty, faced abuse, and encountered numerous setbacks throughout her career. Yet, despite all the odds, she always believed she could learn and grow from every experience. In fact, Oprah once said, "I don't believe in failure. It is not failure if you enjoyed the process." Her growth mindset is what allowed her to overcome every challenge, and eventually she became one of the most influential media moguls in the world.
Oprah's story is incredible. The way she turned every setback into a lesson is a perfect illustration of the power of a growth mindset. She didn't let failure define her. Instead, she embraced it as part of the journey. And I think that's what separates people who achieve big things from those who give up when faced with adversity.
Exactly. And another great example is Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Edison went through countless failed experiments before finally succeeding. In fact, he's famously quoted as saying, "I have not failed." I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. His belief in learning from failure and constantly improving is the epitome of a growth mindset. He could have easily given up after his first, fifth, or even 10th failure, but he persisted and ultimately changed the world.
That's a powerful quote. It's incredible to think that someone like Edison faced so many failures, yet he viewed each one as a step toward success. And that's what makes the growth mindset so valuable. It helps you see each mistake not as a failure, but as a lesson that brings you closer to your goal. Edison's persistence and ability to learn from each failure were crucial to his success.
Absolutely. And it's not just historical figures or famous personalities who embody the growth mindset. Take a look at the world of sports. Michael Jordan, considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was actually cut from his high school basketball team. Can you imagine the blow to his confidence at the time? But instead of quitting, he worked harder, improved his skills, and eventually became an iconic athlete. Jordan's mindset was centered around improvement, persistence, and the belief that failure was just another opportunity to get better.
Michael Jordan's story is such a perfect example of the growth mindset in action. It shows how rejection and failure don't define you. They only make you stronger if you let them. Jordan didn't let his early setbacks determine his future. Instead, he used them as motivation to work harder and prove everyone wrong.
Exactly, Adam. And moving away from the world of sports and entertainment, let's look at someone from the business world. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, didn't have it easy either. In the early days of Amazon, Bezos faced many doubters and challenges. People told him that starting an online bookstore was a crazy idea. But his growth mindset allowed him to persevere. Instead of seeing setbacks as signs of failure, he saw them as opportunities to adjust and improve. Today, Amazon is one of the largest companies in the world.
Bezos is a great example too. He didn't just stick to his initial idea, he adapted, expanded, and innovated continuously. His mindset was one of constant growth, and that's why Amazon evolved from a small bookstore into the global powerhouse it is today. He didn't let early challenges or negative feedback stop him. He used them to refine his vision.
Exactly. And these examples show that the growth mindset isn't just about personal resilience or overcoming failure. It's about adaptation and improvement. The most successful people are constantly evolving, learning, and adapting their strategies as they move forward. They don't let setbacks discourage them, they let them guide them.
And it's not just about learning from setbacks. It's also about taking risks and trying new things, even if you don't know if you'll succeed. Elon Musk, for example, took huge risks with SpaceX and Tesla. He could have stuck to more traditional ventures, but his growth mindset pushed him to challenge the status quo and think bigger. There's a lot of trial and error in innovation, and Musk's story shows that having a growth mindset means embracing uncertainty and learning as you go.
Yes, Elon Musk is a great example of someone who embodies risk-taking with a growth mindset. His companies have faced plenty of challenges, but instead of giving up, he focuses on what he can learn from each failure. That mindset, which encourages taking risks and failing forward, has played a major role in his success.
All these stories really show how important it is to embrace a growth mindset, no matter what your field or goals are. Whether you're starting a business, pursuing a dream, or working to achieve personal success, the mindset you carry makes all the difference. It's not just about talent or luck. It's about believing you can grow, learn, and improve every step of the way.
Exactly, Adam. The common thread in all these examples is resilience, adaptability, and a constant focus on growth. No one who's achieved big things has done it without facing challenges. But what sets them apart is their belief that failure doesn't define them. It refines them.
All right, now let's tackle a very important segment: misconceptions about the growth mindset. We've talked a lot about how powerful a growth mindset can be, but there are still many misunderstandings about it. Sophia, let's start with this. What are some of the most common misconceptions people have about the growth mindset?
Great question, Adam. One of the biggest misconceptions is that people think having a growth mindset means you just have to try harder or work more. Many believe that if they just put in more effort, they'll automatically succeed. But here's the thing. It's not just about effort. It's about being strategic and open to learning. A growth mindset isn't about working yourself to exhaustion, but about working smart, embracing feedback, and being willing to change your approach when needed.
Absolutely. That's a key point. A growth mindset isn't just about effort for effort's sake. It's about effective effort. It's about being able to step back, reflect, and recognize when something isn't working. It's about being flexible and adapting, not just repeating the same actions over and over.
Exactly, Adam. And another misconception is that having a growth mindset means you should love failure. People think that if you embrace a growth mindset, you should enjoy failing. But that's not the case. No one loves failure. It's uncomfortable, and it can be frustrating. But the key is not to let that discomfort stop you. A growth mindset helps you see failure as an opportunity to learn and grow, not as something to be feared or avoided.
That's a great point, Sophia. It's not about loving failure. It's about learning from it. The difference is important. A growth mindset helps you see failure in a more constructive way. It's less about, I failed, therefore I'm bad at this, and more about, I failed, what can I learn from this to do better next time? It's all about reframing the way you view setbacks.
Right. Another misconception I see is that people believe a growth mindset is something you either have or don't have, like a fixed trait. In reality, it's not something that's fixed. It's something you can develop over time. Just like any skill, it requires practice. So it's not about being born with a growth mindset. It's about consistently working to develop it in your everyday life.
That's a powerful point. A growth mindset isn't a personality trait. It's a mindset that can be cultivated. It's about changing the way you approach challenges, setbacks, and learning. You can always develop a growth mindset, no matter where you're starting from.
Exactly, Adam. And let's talk about another misconception, that a growth mindset means always pushing yourself to your limits or never taking breaks. People often think that in order to grow, you need to constantly be working, learning, and striving. But that's not true either. Part of having a growth mindset is knowing when to rest, recharge, and reflect. Pushing yourself too hard can lead to burnout, and the key to growth is balance.
That's such an important point, Sophia. It's not about always pushing forward. Rest, reflection, and self-care are vital components of the growth process. A true growth mindset involves understanding your limits and knowing when to take a step back so you can come back stronger and more focused.
Exactly. And speaking of balance, another misconception is that having a growth mindset means you have to succeed at everything you try. People think that if they have a growth mindset, every new challenge they face will result in success. But that's not realistic. It's not about success at everything. It's about growth from every experience. Sometimes the growth comes from the lessons learned in the process, even if the outcome isn't what you expected.
That's such a crucial distinction. Success is a result of applying the growth mindset over time, not an immediate outcome. Sometimes growth comes in the form of the skills and wisdom you gain from the journey, even if you don't reach the exact goal you had in mind. It's all part of the process.
Exactly. And one final misconception I want to address is the idea that a growth mindset means ignoring challenges. People often think that if you have a growth mindset, you'll just see everything through rose-colored glasses and you won't face difficulties. But that's not the case at all. A growth mindset actually helps you confront challenges head-on, knowing that you'll learn from them. It's about facing difficulties with the understanding that you can always improve, no matter how tough things get.
Great point. A growth mindset doesn't mean ignoring the challenges or pretending everything's easy. It's about acknowledging that challenges are a natural part of the process and believing in your ability to grow from them. It's not about avoiding difficulty, it's about embracing it.
Exactly. So, to sum up, the growth mindset is not about working yourself to exhaustion, loving failure, being born with it, or constantly pushing yourself without rest. It's about learning, adapting, and embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. It's about viewing setbacks as stepping stones on your journey to success.
And I think once we understand and let go of these misconceptions, we can truly harness the power of a growth mindset in our lives. It's not a magic switch that guarantees instant success, but it's a tool that helps us improve, learn, and keep moving forward no matter what challenges we face. Now that we've talked about the theory, the science, and the misconceptions around the growth mindset, let's move on to something super practical. Practical exercises to strengthen your growth mindset. This is where the real work happens. It's one thing to talk about having a growth mindset, but it's another to actually develop and apply it every day. Sophia, let's kick things off. What's one exercise that people can start practicing today to strengthen their growth mindset?
Great question, Adam. One of the most effective exercises is embracing the power of yet. It's a simple but powerful shift in how you speak to yourself. When you find yourself saying, "I can't do this," or "I'm not good enough," add the word yet. For example, instead of saying, "I can't solve this problem," try saying, "I can't solve this problem yet." It's an easy change, but it shifts your focus from a fixed mindset, where you believe your abilities are limited, to a growth mindset where you believe you can always improve.
I love that. It's such a simple change, but it really reframes your thinking. Just by adding yet, you open up the possibility of growth. It's like saying, "I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way," and that's so empowering. What's another exercise people can try?
Another great exercise is setting learning goals instead of performance goals. Now, don't get me wrong, performance goals like "I want to run a marathon" or "I want to get promoted at work" are important, but sometimes they can be intimidating and make us focus only on the outcome. Instead, set learning goals like "I want to improve my endurance" or "I want to learn a new skill that'll help me get promoted." These types of goals focus on the process, which is key to developing a growth mindset. By focusing on learning, you're less concerned about immediate success or failure and more about growth and progress.
That's a great point. Focusing on the process and learning, rather than just the outcome, allows you to embrace challenges and mistakes as part of the journey. When you focus on learning goals, setbacks don't feel like failures. They feel like opportunities to get better, and that's a true growth mindset in action.
Exactly. And another exercise I love is journaling about your growth. Take a few minutes each day or week to reflect on your experiences. Write about a challenge you faced and how you overcame it, or a moment when you learned something new. This not only helps you track your progress, but it also reinforces the belief that you are capable of growth. Plus, when you look back at these journal entries, you'll realize just how much you've developed over time, which is a huge boost for your mindset.
Journaling is a fantastic tool for reflection and self-awareness. It helps you acknowledge your growth, even when you might not see it day to day. Sometimes the progress is slow, but by looking back at your journal, you can really see how far you've come, and that's so motivating.
Exactly, Adam. And speaking of reflection, another exercise that's powerful for building a growth mindset is reframing negative thoughts. Whenever you catch yourself thinking something like, "I'm not good enough for this job," or "I'll never be able to do this," challenge those thoughts. Ask yourself, what would I tell a friend in the same situation? Typically, you'd tell them something encouraging, like, "You're capable, you just need to keep learning and trying." Start treating yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would give others. This reframing exercise helps shift negative thinking patterns into more positive, growth-oriented ones.
Reframing is so important. It's easy to fall into negative self-talk, especially when things get tough. But by challenging those thoughts and changing the narrative, You can break free from that fixed mindset. You're not stuck with your current abilities. You can always improve, and your thoughts have a big influence on your ability to do that.
Exactly. And one final exercise I'd recommend is seeking out feedback. A growth mindset thrives on constructive criticism because it's seen as an opportunity to improve. If you're afraid of feedback, that's a sign you might be leaning into a fixed mindset. So, actively seek feedback from peers, mentors, or managers. When you receive constructive criticism, don't take it personally. Instead, ask yourself, how can I use this feedback to grow and get better?
Seeking feedback can be intimidating, but it's such a powerful tool for growth. It helps you identify areas where you can improve, and when you see feedback as a chance to learn rather than a judgment, you're really strengthening that growth mindset. It's all about embracing the idea that there's always room for improvement.
Exactly. So, to recap, here are some practical exercises that will help you strengthen your growth mindset. 1. Start using the power of yet to reframe your thoughts. 2. Set learning goals instead of performance goals to focus on the process. 3rd. Journal about your growth to reflect on your progress. 4. Reframe negative thoughts into growth-oriented ones. 5. Seek out feedback and use it as a tool for improvement. These exercises, when practiced consistently, will help shift your mindset from fixed to growth-oriented and set you on the path to achieving your goals.
Such great advice, Sophia. These exercises are practical, actionable, and they really work. It's all about taking small steps each day to strengthen your mindset and improve your ability to learn and grow. So, if you're listening to this, try implementing at least one of these exercises in your routine. Over time, you'll notice how much your mindset can shift, and that's the first step in achieving those big goals. Such great advice, Sophia. These exercises are practical, actionable, and they really work. It's all about taking small steps each day to strengthen your mindset and improve your ability to learn and grow. So, if you're listening to this, try implementing at least one of these exercises in your routine. Over time, you'll notice how much your mindset can shift, and that's the first step in achieving those big goals.
Now, let's dive into an exciting and often overlooked aspect of the growth mindset: the growth mindset in relationships and teamwork. You might think of a growth mindset as something that's all about personal development, but it actually plays a huge role in how we interact with others, whether in friendships, romantic relationships, or in professional teamwork. Sophia, why do you think a growth mindset is so important when it comes to relationships and teamwork? Great question, Adam. A growth mindset is incredibly important in relationships because it helps us approach challenges and conflicts with a positive, solution-oriented attitude. Instead of viewing disagreements or setbacks as signs of incompatibility, we see them as opportunities to grow and improve together. In any relationship, whether personal or professional, there will be disagreements, misunderstandings, or difficult situations. But with a growth mindset, you're able to view those moments as chances to learn more about each other, communicate better, and strengthen the bond.
Exactly, Sophia. A lot of people, when they face conflict or a tough situation in a relationship, can fall into a fixed mindset, thinking, this is just how things are, and there's nothing we can do to fix it. But with a growth mindset, you believe that change is always possible. You can work through problems, and both of you can grow and evolve together. It's about seeing the relationship as something that can improve and deepen, no matter what challenges come your way.
Exactly, Adam. And that's crucial not just in romantic relationships, but also in teamwork. Think about it. In a team, there's a lot of collaboration, and naturally, there will be different ideas, strategies, and sometimes even conflicts. If everyone in the team has a growth mindset, they'll see challenges as a natural part of the process. They'll be open to feedback, constructive criticism, and even failure, because they'll understand that these things are part of the path to success.
Right. And it's about embracing diversity of thought. When you have a growth mindset, you're more open to hearing new ideas, considering different perspectives, and working through disagreements in a healthy way. In a team, this can lead to incredible creativity and problem solving because everyone is coming from a place of growth and improvement. They know that learning from each other and adapting is key to success.
Exactly. And another point is that in both relationships and teamwork, a growth mindset helps you manage criticism and feedback. No one likes to be criticized, but with a growth mindset, you see feedback as an opportunity to improve. You're not taking it personally. You understand that feedback is meant to help you grow and become better at what you do, whether it's in a relationship or as part of a team. This helps prevent defensiveness and opens up a productive conversation.
That's huge. It's so easy to feel defensive when someone points out something you did wrong, but with a growth mindset, you can take a step back and ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of focusing on protecting your ego, you're focusing on how to improve. In relationships, that means being willing to listen, understand, and change. And in a team, it leads to better collaboration and efficiency because everyone is committed to continuous improvement.
And here's another interesting thing, empathy. A growth mindset also helps you develop a greater sense of empathy, whether in personal relationships or in teamwork. When you approach a relationship with a growth mindset, you're more likely to listen with an open heart and try to understand where the other person is coming from. You're not just focused on your own perspective. In a team, empathy helps you appreciate the strengths and weaknesses of others, which leads to better communication and collaboration.
Empathy really is key, Sophia. With a growth mindset, you approach every relationship with the belief that people are capable of change, including yourself. You see your teammates or loved ones as works in progress, just like you are. And that understanding fosters patience, tolerance, and a deeper connection.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about resilience for a moment. In both relationships and teamwork, things don't always go smoothly. There will be setbacks, mistakes, and even failures. But with a growth mindset, resilience becomes a natural part of your approach. When you encounter challenges, whether they're personal or professional, you don't give up easily. You keep going, knowing that failure is not a permanent state. It's just a stepping stone to improvement.
That's such a crucial point. In relationships and teams, resilience means not giving up on each other when times get tough. It means showing up every day, ready to learn and grow together. A growth mindset makes you see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to strengthen your bond and improve your ability to work together.
Absolutely. So, to sum up, a growth mindset in relationships and teamwork isn't just about personal growth. It's about how you handle challenges, communicate with others, and embrace feedback and change. It helps you foster empathy, resilience, and creativity, all of which are essential for building strong, supportive relationships and teams. It's about working together to learn, grow, and ultimately succeed, no matter what obstacles come your way.
Exactly. The beauty of a growth mindset is that it's not just something you apply to yourself. It's something you can bring into every interaction, every relationship, and every team you're part of. By adopting a growth mindset in your relationships and teamwork, you're setting yourself up for deeper connections, more effective collaboration, and long-term success. So, remember, growth is a team effort. Well, Sophia, we've covered a lot of ground today, and I think it's safe to say that the connection between gratitude and a growth mindset is something truly powerful. We've learned how gratitude isn't just a feel-good habit, but a transformative tool that can help us overcome challenges, stay motivated, and keep growing no matter where we are in our journey.
Exactly, Adam. It's been an enlightening conversation. If there's one thing I hope our listeners take away from today, it's that a growth mindset is within everyone's reach, and gratitude is one of the simplest yet most effective ways to strengthen it. Whether you're dealing with setbacks or celebrating wins, gratitude helps you stay focused, grounded, and open to growth.
Absolutely. And for everyone listening today, remember that growth isn't a destination. It's a continuous process. So keep practicing gratitude, stay committed to your goals, and don't be afraid to embrace challenges as opportunities to learn. We hope you feel inspired to start applying these insights to your own life, and that you're ready to make 2025 the year of growth and transformation.
Yes, we believe in you. Every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. And as always, keep challenging yourself, stay positive, and remember, your growth journey is uniquely yours. Thanks so much for tuning in with us today. We're excited for the incredible things you're going to accomplish.
That's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to share it with your friends, leave us a review, and let us know how you're incorporating gratitude and a growth mindset into your life. We can't wait to hear your stories.
Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember, you're capable of achieving far more than you think. See you in the next episode.
Take care, everyone.